Now, let's talk about the Canary Islands. What's this story?
The Canary Islands.
Oh, I thought it was...
It's a play on words by the Express, but yeah, that's not an actual place. I thought...
No, the Canary Islands.
Okay.
I thought, yes, I know they're not called the Canary Islands.
Just double checking. Anyway, so the Canary Islands, I think in Tenerife, they have a protest that's due to take place over the mass tourism going to the Canary Islands, and it's just not sustainable. The indigenous people of the Canary Islands can't even get a house. I mean, some of them are living in their cars, they're living in caves. These are the reports.
They're living in caves?
Yeah, absolutely, because the amount of people that go to these islands, a lot of British people, I think about 16.2 million people, foreign visitors, visited the Canary Islands, 5 million of which are from the UK. But it's also the fact that British people are absolutely unruly, reckless, rambunctious, horrid people when they go abroad.
Calm down.
No, but I'm fed up with it. I went to Zante one year, a party island, right?
God, if you keep banging that desk, I want you to stay there.
And I was appalled by the behaviour of British people.
You were just telling me that you drank till you fell over.
In the UK, but I would never do that abroad.
What's a load of old nonsense? Of course you do.
I would never embarrass the country.
Hypocrite.
I'd never embarrass the country.
You're one of those rambunctious British people. You were just describing Sutton, your high horse.
I would never act in such a way. But you know what? Malia in 2017 banned 10,000 British people from going to Crete.
You'd have been one of them with your behaviour.
No. And in 2023, Amsterdam ran a digital campaign encouraging 18 to 35-year-olds not to visit, again because of the typified, unruly, disgusting behaviour exhibited by British people.
By people like you.
By people, excuse me, this is libel.
You drink till you fall over. You admitted it before.
Absolutely, yeah.
You love cocktails.
Abroad, I have never, ever acted in such a manner when I'm abroad. I was just in Malta. I was a shining example of the UK. In fact, all of the Maltese people were like, oh my gosh, you're that guy from The Apprentice from the UK. I mean, these are international fans. And I was...
As if people who were resident in Malta came up and said, oh, I remember you from the 2019 Apprentice. Wasn't it you that Lord Sugar said, with regret to?
Yes, exactly. Someone actually said that. But you know what? I am a shining example of how Brits should behave when they're abroad. And unfortunately, they go to places... They go to places like Tenerife and other places in the Canary Islands, and they act in such a way that it is ruinous to these islands. They've got nature reserves that British people drive their cars into. A lot of people from these ecology groups that represent some of the islands, they are describing this behaviour, and unfortunately British people don't understand their limits. And this is what the story is about in the Express, and I totally agree. With the protest, I'm in support of it. I might actually go over and protest myself.
I'm trying to look up this story. So what is it? The Canary Islands. So thousands of people, they're taking place today on an urgent rethink of the tourism industry and a freeze on tourist numbers, arguing that the current decades-old model has made life unaffordable and environmentally unsustainable. But then, you know, all of those people and all of that place has benefited to the point of billions.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I would say a point on that. Yes, you're right. It's about 37% of their gross domestic product, which is contributed by 37% of their GDP.
Nearly, that's ridiculous.
It's a great contribution, obviously, not just by British people, by foreign visitors in total. That's the GDP, and that is made up of tourism. That comes from tourism.
11 people have been on hunger strike for a week.
But can I just say, I would recommend to the government, the luxury travel market worldwide is worth about $1.4 trillion. They could refocus the kind of tourism that they promote in these countries, because obviously when you go to places like Lanzarote, you think of clubbing, you think of strips, you think of these disgusting, dirty, ratty clubs that people frequent.
That you'd go to?
Sorry?
That you would go to.
Have I said that before? And they need to rethink how they're marketing their tourism trade. They could actually say, let's get rid of these all-inclusive hotel developments that attract the worst kind of tourists, can I say? Really, I don't like using the word chavvy tourists.
Well, you seem to be quite comfortable.
And they could remarket their travel trade into something tailored to a luxury client.
The problem is then that what you're doing is you're making travel unaffordable and unobtainable for normal people by doing that.
Not at all. There's other ways. I mean, look, they can add
Where would you have chavvy people go on holiday?
Well, they can just change their holiday habits.
Where would you have them go?
Well, they can still go to these destinations, but they need to change their habits.
But if you make it more expensive and luxury, they're not going to be able to afford to go to those destinations. So, fine, I get your point.
Well, there's always...
Make it more luxury. Where would you send the chavs?
There's always Brighton, and there's always Eastbourne.
What has Brighton done wrong?
Staycations are booming.
What has Brighton done to deserve all the chavvy people? In fairness, they do have a Green MP, so maybe that is what they deserve.
Maybe that's why they deserve it. But there are other locations, perhaps not the Canary Islands.
Why do we have to have all the chav? Why can't they go abroad somewhere?
Well, because the behaviour is unacceptable.
Yes, I know, but you still have the chavvy people need holidays.
Yes, but do it elsewhere. The Canary Islands are fed up with it. So I am in support of that. If they want to go to, I don't know, maybe Magaluf, then that's where they could go.
So you'd send them all to Magaluf?
They could go to Magaluf.
I mean, I don't
Zante.
actually disagree. I think that I've argued with this a lot, that I think that low-cost travel has destroyed airline travel.
Yes.
I think it's... I hate the fact that airline travel has become a race to the bottom of chaviness, and that, I went down... I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole the other day where I found something called... You'd have loved it. It was the Boeing Stratocruiser.
Okay, sounds
and it
amazing.
was a 1950s Boeing aircraft, propeller aircraft, and it was a former bomber that they used the sort of floor plan of a bomber from the war to make this luxury Stratocruiser. It was the first double-decker passenger plane where they would literally bring out a rack of lamb, where they would slice it in front of... They had sleeper cabins. Downstairs, they had a piano bar for the passengers. I mean, it was amazing. Okay, the propellers used to come off and hit the fuselage and it would crash quite a lot, but they would crash in complete luxury.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's about perhaps dying surrounded by luxury. Yes, exactly.
Rather
having
than
a rack of lamb.
the streets of Magaluf.
But that's my point. I think they just need to refocus how they're marketing the destination as a place to travel to and attract a different type of tourist. And I think that's the solution to more sustainable tourism.
All right, I can see your point, and I think that fewer people going away so that travel becomes more exclusive is a good thing.